WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and our website, www.wvtcdetroit.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users.
This is
Soulful Inspiration.
It's your girl, Nikki Jones. This will be an hour to feed your soul with music and laughter, information and inspiration. You're listening to WVTC
Detroit.
All designed with you in mind. So sit back, relax, and get ready to join the conversation with me,
Nikki Jones. Soulful Inspiration.
Inspirations. Yes, sir. Welcome to Soulful Inspirations. I am your girl, Nikki Jones. So glad to see you tonight. Yes. So glad to be seen and not viewed. It is a beautiful day in Detroit. It's a little chilly, but we are not complaining. Hallelujah, because there's no snow on the ground and we are good. I can warm up with my coat and my gloves and my hat, but I don't want to be in all that snow. So we having a good day today. It's been a beautiful Tuesday, and we are hoping that you're having a great day as well. Yes. We want you to like and share and subscribe. That's right. Like, share, and subscribe. Why? Because we're going to have a great conversation and you don't want to miss it. And you want to share this conversation. Any professional woman you know, I need you to tag them right now. If you know a person who is a woman who is a professional in the workplace, she's in corporate America, she's a nurse, she's whatever she is, whatever her profession is, I need you to tag her because if she's African American and she's a woman, I guarantee you she's going to benefit from this conversation today. Yes. So I need you to like and share and subscribe and tag somebody you know who would fit the bill of being a professional woman, and she's African American. Okay, that's the conversation tonight. It is Black History Month. We are celebrating, and as you can see, there are two beautiful women on the side of me, on my left and on my right. Why are they here? Because we moved up My Sister, Your Sister podcast 1 week this month. Okay, we did it for this month, and that's because I could do what I want to do. That's because it's my show. That's because what I had just said. Yes. So. And we have a wonderful guest, and we have our other sister who is on StreamYard with us, Miss Michelle Johnson. Hey. And to my left and right is Randy Butler and Tamara Fontaine Hardy.
Good evening.
Yes. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Everybody all right?
We're doing all right.
Yes. All right.
We survived in February.
We survived in February, okay?
Yes.
And we also have my beautiful and talented and anointed and blessed and vivacious,
and
wonderful and single.
Yes. And available.
A beautiful co-host of Soulful Inspirations, the wonderful Pastor Denise Thomas. Yes. And we have our special guest, and I'm not going to introduce our guest. I'm going to turn it over to Tamara Fontaine and Hardy, and she is going to introduce our guest.
Yes. So welcome. I just want to take your minds back to our last podcast, kind of revisit that.
Okay.
And one of the things we talked about during our last podcast was women in the workplace, right? And how we have suffered, or how we endure, or how we manage the different types of microaggressions, and we manage bullying in the workplace. We manage oppression in the workplace.
Yes.
We manage being blamed in the workplace. All these things that we deal with as women of color in the workplace. So we kind of talked about that. We ruminated about it. You know,
we did.
We got into some details. I shared a lot of personal challenges that I had experienced. Well, and we talked a little bit about some of the tools that we could use as we go through these challenges. Well, we thought we wanted to continue that conversation, but take it a little different in celebrating our history today. I'm proud to be a Black woman in America.
Too.
I'm proud. I love my melanated skin.
I sure do.
And so we wanted to talk about what it means to be a Black woman in the workplace and how we can use some of these wonderful tools to help us manage and be successful in the workplace as we deal with some of these challenges. And you know who I thought about?
Who did you think about?
I thought about somebody who was awesome and just awesome in all her ways.
What?
I thought about somebody who I can call on and talk to, and she always sets me straight.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I thought about somebody who is talented, who is beautiful, who is well-spoken.
Oh, my God.
Who is educated.
I know who you're talking about.
Who has a wonderful personality, who can cook.
I know exactly.
You better say that.
I thought about somebody who can dress.
She can cook.
Yeah, she color coordinates like nobody business.
Dress her body. I thought about somebody who just is the all around. I'm every woman. It's all in me.
You was sleeping.
And she will pray you.
And
pray you under the rafters. She would deliver your soul.
Come on now.
If you thought about doing something wrong,
there you go.
Don't let her find out, because she's going to pray you out of your wrongdoing.
Come on now.
Do it. Brand new. Call you out. But she does it in love.
Amen.
She does it in love, and she is fabulous. I'm not going to tell you about all that she's accomplished because I want her to be able to tell some of it. But I invited Pastor D also because I know Pastor D knows a lot about this woman. They're very close. She can tell us some things, you know. So, Pastor D, I'm going to pass it over to you so you can introduce our guest for tonight.
Okay.
Because I wanted to show her flowers while she is alive.
Yes.
And she can enjoy them.
Yes.
Okay, Pastor D.
I love that. You guys have covered so many of the bases. I will say this, that as a woman of God and as a Christian first and foremost, that she walks in absolute integrity. As a Black woman, I said Christian first because that's who she is first.
Right.
And as a Black woman, she is not a stranger to hardship. You would not know that because she don't look like what she's been through.
Come on now.
Does not. And so she is an encouragement. She is honest. She will give you truth to power. And so I add that to everything that you all have said. I would trust her with my bank account because from my bank account, it would probably quadruple really quick.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Because she just got that kind of anointing, okay?
Amen.
I trust her with my bank account. I trust her with my life. She has been a friend. And so I would just add that to everything that's been said. There's nothing, I'm just not a fluff person. I'm just say stuff to be saying it. That's just not what I do. But I can rubber stamp everything that's been said today and can say that it's true. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a nana, and she just is an all around blessing. If you have her in your life, if she touches your life in any area, you can look for the area to multiply.
Yes.
Amen.
That's what I would say. I'm gonna put my microphone on mute because I plan on just watching the rest of the night.
Listening. Yes. So,
ladies and gentlemen,
thank you.
And to the world at large, I introduce you. If you don't know her, remember this name, Dr. Jacqueline Lawler.
Listen,
how are you?
To say thank you, God, for my peeps. Okay, I'm just trying to say thank you for my peeps because you sure can tell that you my peeps, and I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for each and every one of you in my life. Okay, let's get down to business now.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so just let me give you a little bit of my background on the professional level so that it gives you a framing of the way that I'm thinking and the conversation that we're going to have. Okay?
Sounds good.
did that corporate thing for 25 years. Fortune 500 company, went into corporate when women wore gray suits because that's what men wore.
Mm.
And Black women wore gray suits because that's what the white women wore, right? So we was like coming up in behind. That's the era that I entered into corporate America. Was able, though, to find my voice. And that is something that you will hear me say a few times this evening. You have to find your voice, okay? And the way I found my voice was, at that point in time, I was a single mom with 2 girls and a teenage daughter who was just giving me the flux in all reality, okay? And I had the opportunity to learn about learning organizations. It was my first understanding of organizational development, leadership development. And we started with some work from Peter Senge and Chris Argyris, who at that time and still are foundational in the work of organizational development, especially around organizational thinking and processing around people. So got an opportunity to get into that work, and it's the kind of work that you don't do just for corporate. It influences your entire life. So one of the things that I began to understand was how my mind had me caged. And it had
again,
me
I'm sorry.
caged
Say that
in
one more time. How her mind had her caged, right?
Yeah, that's what she said.
So I was in corporate doing that whole thing, you know, a place that does not honor you, does not respect you. And I was looking outward. But this work showed me that part of it was I had my mind had me caged. And until I was able to at least begin to see how it had me caged before I could unravel that thing so that I could be different, me, not in a gray suit, started wearing a yellow jacket, all that, okay? So that I could find my voice to be me. So this is the work that I have immersed myself in over more than 30 years. I ended up getting my master's degree in organizational development from one of the top 3 OD schools in the country, the American University in DC.
All right, now.
I left DTE, which is where I was for the 25 years, came out, did some consulting, went to Bloomfield Hills, had a client who wanted me to come in and help them do some work. So I joined that organization, became president CEO for 8 years of about a 100-person organization that was losing money. They were losing over $750,000 a year, which I thought was a whole lot of money. So we were able to kind of turn that around, but in a different way. I went into that company. It was an insurance-based company, and I had never processed a claim in my life. I had to look up subrogation because it was a subrogation company. I had to look up what that was before I went in to talk to the guy about the job to join the company, to run the company.
Wow.
Because I didn't even know what it was. Okay. So went there, ran it for 8 years, brought them into profitability, but it was all based on my understanding of organizational development and leading people. Okay. So we're going to fast forward now to what we want to talk about a little bit today.
Yes, ma'am.
Unless y'all want to stop. And I can answer any questions.
Keep going.
Okay. So what I heard Tamara say as we started our conversation was what we manage in the workplace. You all talked about what you manage in the workplace.
Yes.
I believe we have to better than manage what's going on in the workplace. We have to find our voice, find our flat footing, like put your feet flat on the ground, and engage the environment that you find yourself in, find your voice, and own your power.
Ooh, okay, you said.
Okay, all right, Dr. Lala. You said a mouthful.
Engage in your environment.
She
Where's
said,
your right
footing, find your flat footing, and own your power.
That's right.
Did I get that right?
Yes.
Own your power. Okay, so let's start with that flat footing, because everybody don't have flat feet.
Oh no, let's take a step back. Let's take a step back. Let me ask a question. Is that linear? Or is this a process where you have to ebb and flow through some of that? Because if you are coming from a place where you don't have a voice, you bow-legged and slew-footed, and you blind in your environment because your trauma keeps you sort of narrowed, right? It keeps you like what are blinders. And so you feel, in a sense, very powerless.
Yes.
So is this linear? Or is this something that, as you find your voice, sometimes you have to take a step back, find your voice, then gain your footing to do da. So talk about that process. Like, what does that look like for somebody who might be experiencing issues?
Yes, it's a growth process. It's a growth process. Just like I said, I had to first realize my thinking had me caged in. And it's like, what does that even mean? What does that even look like? Okay, what it looked like was, if it don't work like this, then there's something wrong with it. And if there's something wrong with it, then I don't want to deal with that. Or that's wrong. Or now I got my own mental model, my own thing about judging something external to me. I'm judging it. And once I do that, now I'm closed all in. I'm angry. I'm all kind of stuff. Right? But part of what I had to learn when I was in corporate is the politics that go on made me sick. But as I was praying and complaining to the Lord about it one day, I got an understanding that you have to understand the politics, you have to see the politics, and then you can choose to play the politics. But see, I had my eyes closed. That's what had me blind. I had my eyes closed. It was wrong. All of it was wrong. I had judged it was wrong. I don't want to see it. I don't want to understand it. I don't want none of that. I just want to come in here and do what I'm supposed to do and have people appreciate me and pay me for what I'm worth and do. But they weren't going to do what I wanted them to do. So then what?
Exactly.
Ooh, because
you can't control your external. You can't control nothing but yourself.
I'm there.
So you got people that'll, get on your nerve, push the buttons, do all of that. Like we were talking about the doctor who committed suicide. There were external factors that led up to that. But what could she have done? What kind of choices could she have made differently? How could she have shown up differently to, we know the Lord is our defense and our banner, but Lord, teach us how not to be a punk, what can we do, because we can only manage ourselves. So what do we do?
Yeah. And that first thing about the professor is how we take in that stuff. Right. And then what we do with it when we take it in.
Right.
How far in do we let it come? Yes. And then how far in do we keep it and germinate it and work with it? And that goes to one of the primary tools we're going to talk about today is the ladder of inference. Okay. That takes you right to the ladder of inference. So the ladder of inference is a tool to help you understand your thinking. Okay. It's meant to help you slow down your thinking. So let me give you an example. When you get ready to go to your car and drive, you go out to the driveway, you got your keys in your hand, you walking out to the car. Are you thinking about each one of these steps as you do it? I need to put my keys in my hand. I need to put this foot in front of this foot. I need to open the door. I need to go out. I need to open. Okay. You don't, because your mind is processing that very quickly. It is doing that for you. There are some things you don't need to think about. And so your mind takes care of it and you just keep it moving. That's why you can walk and chew gum at the same time, right? Because you don't have to think about either one of them, really. That serves us most of the time. The way that our mind works and supports us, but sometimes it does not serve us. Okay? The ladder of inference is a way to slow down your thinking in order to determine whether those steps are not serving you. Okay? So the way the ladder works is, and then we're going to go for some examples, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff that's going on in the workplace that may be keeping you caged in. I'm not saying it is, but it could be. Okay? So at the bottom of the ladder, this is just like a ladder, right? At the bottom rung of the ladder, it's called observable data or experiences. This is like a video camera, right? It is data you see. When you walk in a room, there's tons of things in there. I'm glad y'all can't see the rest of my office because there's tons of things in here. And if you walked in, there's probably something that would catch your eye. But then there are 100 other things that won't catch your eye. And I might ask you, is there a picture in my office if you walked out? And the picture might not have caught your eye, but it might have caught somebody else's eye. So there's lots of data. Our eyes take in certain pieces of it, not all of it.
True.
Part of what it takes in is based on our own thinking, our own experiences, right? It's already what's in your head. Okay, so you walk in my office, there's observable data. You select a piece of data. You put meaning to that data. If you walked in my office right now, you would say, I said all those nice things about Dr. Lawler, but I walk in her office right now and I see she got that flower sitting up over there that probably needs watering. Okay. Now you're going to put meaning to my flower that needs watering over there. And that assumption might be she does not take good care of her flowers. And you might even draw a conclusion that because she can't take good care of her flowers, she might not be able to take good care of people either. You don't know where your mind went. It's doing all of this. All of this is going on in your head. You don't know what's going on. And trust me, don't nobody else know what's going on in your head either.
This is true.
So you don't know and others don't either. Okay. So now you have a belief about me.
Okay.
You put meaning to the data that you've taken in, and you now have a belief about me. And now you're going to take an action about the belief that you have about me.
We done went all the way up the ladder already.
Listen, the only solid thing was on the floor when you had data. Everything else is in your mind.
Wow. Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about a situation that happens at work. Okay.
Wow.
There's a piece of data. Somebody said something. Somebody didn't say something. Somebody did something. Somebody sent an email and you read it. And you read it with your own inflection on the words that you wanted your own inflection to be on. Whatever that is. Okay. So I want you each to think of a situation in your mind just about that. As you were managing your workplace, right? That's where we started at.
Right.
You managing your workplace. There was a situation. So take in the piece of data And I'm warning you, the piece of data you taking in, there's other pieces that might contradict that, but you didn't see them anyway. So we just go take the piece you got right now. So taking a piece of data, what meaning did you add to that data? The data was just there itself. The email was just the email, and it had the words on it. That's all the data was. But you put meaning to that. Either they wrote the email and you say, she didn't read what I sent her before, or she didn't listen to what I said, right? Because if she heard what so the meaning you put to the email is, she didn't listen to what I said, or else she wouldn't have written this email. Okay, so let's stay with the email example. That's the meaning you put to it. So now you make assumptions. She did not listen to me. She doesn't respect me anyhow. And now this is coming through on the email. So the conclusion that you draw, again, is that she don't have no respect for you. Your beliefs is, I need to get her told.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Facts.
According to the email that I already sent you.
Her previous message.
Right. The action I take is I'm going to shoot her off an email. Pastor D, somebody posted that the Holy Spirit have you delete an email back to okay and send text messages. Right? But you didn't listen to the Holy Ghost this time because you wrote it and you sent it. You wrote that email. That was the action you took, and you sent that email. And then I get the email from you and I read it, and I get a little offended or so, but I'm gonna do a little different thing. I'm gonna come to your office and I'm gonna say, hey.
Look at Michelle.
I just got your email and I'm sorry. I don't understand. I was writing you to confirm that I heard what you said when we were talking, and I agreed. Did I write something wrong?
You done fell off the ladder.
Or if I don't come to your office, now I'm on the ladder on a different piece because I done picked up what you sent me as data, and I done put my own meaning to it, and I done went up my own ladder. So here we are sitting at the top of two different ladders, angry at each other about two different things that we don't even know what we're talking about.
Yep.
Now that's reality.
60.
Now that's reality. Now help us get down from the ladder, Dr. Lawler. Now we on this ladder.
Go down that ladder.
All the way up.
I'm on the ladder and I'm hanging on there, right? Hoping that the other person will fall off first.
We all the way at the top. We all the way at the top.
No, wait, let me tell you. When
hanging on like this.
Girl, when somebody says to me in a story like that, so in my mind, I'm thinking, I just be like, wait, stop.
That's already done.
So I'm thinking, and I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with somebody like that, and I'm like, you already up the ladder. Like, what? I was like, what facts do you have to support this? You're making an assumption. That's a bunch of fluff. It happens almost daily in my life. It's ridiculous. If I hear somebody say, so in my mind, I'm like, stop, we can't do it. I'm not doing it. And in your mind, that's not what it is. That's not the data.
It's a circuit in your mind already.
You got a bunch of stuff in your mind.
And that's exactly yes. That's exactly how you get down the ladder. You bring it out of your mind into the open, into a conversation.
Conversation. Say that. Conversation. Not a text. Not a text. Conversation.
Not a text.
Not a text, but conversation.
Yeah. You have to get what's in your mind out in the open. And another person may not have the skill to do that. Right? They don't know they up the ladder. They have no idea what's going on, but you do. So the way you walk them down is to walk yourself down by exposing what's in your head out in the open. It becomes
exactly. And some people don't want to do that. They don't want to expose what's in their head. They don't, because then that tells you something about who that person is, and they don't want to get that vulnerable.
Yeah.
Especially when they know that they just made a huge mistake and sent you an email that you didn't deserve.
Yeah.
And it's not an or. And if a person want to retain control, because
power.
Yeah, that's where it comes from, right? Like that control to remain the power in that circumstance. So,
but it's a false power.
Well, it is.
In your mind, they have power, but in reality, they don't.
Absolutely. But I think when you're so caught up in hanging on the ladder,
yeah,
you're trying to retain. Yeah,
you know,
you want to maintain your position.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's that right fighting, and it doesn't really profit anything until, like you were saying, till both parties get their thoughts out, and you can deal with what's factual, and then figure out where to go from there. Is that right?
Yes. And the other piece of that, though, when I say own your power, if you see somebody else doing that and you know what it is, you don't collude with them and act like you don't know what it is.
Thank you.
But if you get into your emotional space, if your emotional intelligence decreases at that point, then you can't stand flat-footed and engage them in a way that you know what's going on. You know they up the ladder. You know they talking about something that they don't know what they talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can't be unemotional about it, right? That's an interesting concept you have there. Can you help me understand?
Yeah, but I really believe that it's all about how you articulate and bring them back down that ladder by exposing them in a way, but exposing the fact that they don't have observable
data. Yes. But let me tell you this, though. If you do it with the intent to expose them, then your questions are going to come out insincere,
yes.
right? You have to be sincerely curious about understanding, even though this might be a crazy conversation.
Okay, you may not understand.
But there are people who are sincerely curious about exposing you as the dumb broad that you are. I'm just don't say it like that.
So, if you go in it
right now, I'm gonna rub her back right now.
No, because that's the truth. Because we run up against people who are entitled, and no matter if you try to expose them, if they're up that ladder or not, they hold on to that entitlement.
But it's the way that you go about it.
It's the way that you go about it.
It's the way that you go about it.
They, even if you expose them and you sincerely do it in a way that is because you want to have this sincere conversation, there's still people out there who will go back to that sense of entitlement.
They will, Tamara.
They will.
What's the outcome that you're looking for?
Exactly. You have to focus on that.
Exposing the conversation. If it's really just, I don't know how many times you can have a conversation with a person and continue not to collude with them, acting like they know what they're talking about when they don't, and they continue to do that for you.
Right.
They need to find another way in. They have to find another avenue.
Right.
Right. Especially if you're able to do it with a level of professionalism and confidence.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Definitely.
Wow. It's a way. It's, emotional intelligence is the thing that is rated as the highest competency of an effective leader.
Amen to that. Because I was just going to say that a lot of people need to go and take that test.
Yeah.
The emotional intelligence test. They got a book out there. So if you don't have it, people out there listening, go get it. You could do a self-exam. It is very plain in terms of helping you understand where you are and the areas to which you need to work on.
It's a good test.
And I feel like there's emotional intelligence and we're not born with it.
Right.
And two, I think what I'm hearing also is intentionality.
Yes.
So like, what is it that are you trying to, this is what somebody told me once. We were both on this ladder of inference and we was hanging on to dear life. And the person that I was having this situation with said, do you want to win or do you want to be right?
Period. Period.
And as I'm listening to you, that is what's popping up in my head, Dr. Walker. It's like this thing, like if we're on the job and we're supposed to be focused on a particular goal or a particular strategy, then we're looking at the whole, not the part. We're looking to win. So let us refocus our energies, get off the refocus our energy, be intentional about the exposure, right? Like, are you just trying to win? Are you trying to win, or are you just trying to be right in this moment? Because if you're just trying to be right, that's going to take us off.
You're never going to come to a resolution.
You're never going to come to a resolution.
Because you have different intentions.
I feel like in any job, you need to take an emotional intelligence exam. I really do believe that. So people can understand where you are to be able to better help you, because you're going to work with people. You don't want to break that cycle of trauma in the workplace. But also, as you engage with people, there has to be, like the person said that just left us a message, is that we got to enter into the space with intentionality of love or joy or whatever that thing is. Because when you enter through those veins, you can then operate and communicate at that level and not just think about me.
Yes.
I have a question. Will there be times when your outcome, you'll just have to settle for peace? You just have to settle that I'm not going to understand. They're not going to understand. I'm just going to have peace about this. You work on a job with somebody that is always right. Never wrong about anything. And so are you going to waste a lot of energy, or do you just say, I'm just going to get along with people? You say the sky is green. I'll be like, yes. Yep. Because I just got to have peace. I can't, whatever those issues are, it's way deeper than what I'm qualified to deal with.
Dr. Lawler, Pastor D, I think that when you understand that people have all these different mental models, and many times they haven't dealt with those past hurts and oppression that they've had in their life. And so you may be at a phase where you understand it, but they haven't gotten there yet. They just haven't got there. So understanding that you have to approach every situation with love and understanding for the person who may not be where you are. And for you, it's recognizing that you just have to say, we just gonna end this with to agree to disagree, and pray for that person until they get to that place where you are. But it's really up to you to show them some level of love and patience until they get there. And that's hard to do.
It is very hard to do. And sometimes you got to cut stuff off and just say, you know what, we're not getting nowhere today.
Move on.
Let's put a pin in it. But you need to revisit it, because what you don't want to do is
leave them to their own thoughts.
Exactly. What say you, Dr. Lawler? What say you?
You know what? I agree with you. But again, I want to shift to your understanding of the power that you have in the situation. We go to the person who might want to not listen, and the person who hasn't dealt with it. You're going to find all of that, right? Amen. But in between all of that, you're going to find some other people too. So what's your position in the workplace? This is your work about shifting your position in the workplace. How you approach conversations, how you do the way the other person deals with it, you don't have any control over that.
Exactly.
If you have enough conversations with the same person, then I'm not asking them no question. I'm not, right? But then several other people, if you can be intentional about, wow, I believe, and this talks about the focus of the heart, right? Do I believe that these people are here to do, as Michelle said, to win, to do the work? They may see a different way of getting to where we are. Many people have their own personal agendas and all of that going on. But how are you going to manage your experience and your environment in your workplace? Because that's where you get your power from. That's how you find your voice. My voice was when I learned how to say, listen, okay, I hear you. I hear you. But let me help you understand how I have come to my conclusion. And then you can help me understand how you came to your conclusion. It may not change my mind, it might not change their mind, but it might change their mind or my mind. Because what's going on in my head is now out here in the open. If you can't test your thinking, and that's really all it is, but you have to be open to testing your own thinking too.
Yeah.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, it's not about proving anything. It's about sharing what's in your head. Literally, like not trying to prove. I think people go in sometimes into conversations just trying to prove who's right.
That's right.
It's not about proving who's right as much as it is about communicating where everybody stands or where the individual stands in their thought process or on that particular subject or with that particular goal. Like, this is where I stand. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm doing. This is what I hear. This is what I hear you saying or hear you doing, or this is my understanding. And I think if we stop trying to be right and just share what we feel or think or what we're doing, then maybe that could lead to a better, more fruitful conversation. Am I hearing you? Am I hearing you correctly?
Yes. But in addition to that, how I got there. See, the latter says, I saw this data, I added this meaning. In that, I made an assumption. I came to this conclusion, and then this is my belief about it, and this is the action I took. So when you walk somebody down the ladder, you're walking them down to the point of data, hopefully something that you both saw or you both heard.
So a point of connection.
Yes. Because everything else is added in your head, and you add it based on your experiences and your understanding and your belief about the way the world works. The only thing that we really do know is that the flower is sitting on my desk over here.
That's right.
And it needs some water.
Okay?
Unless it's a fake flower and it's broke.
That's right. And I might tell you, that's a fake flower. It look good, but it's fake. No. So, you know what I'm saying? But if we could get back to how you got to the conclusion that I'm not a good mother, because you saw the flower in my office that needed water. How you get up the ladder from there? Well, Dr. Lala, I don't think you you really understand what it means to be a grandmother. Well, why do you say that? Well, because I don't think you talk to your grandkids. Why do you say that? You coming up with stuff out of nowhere in your head that might be connected to the fact that your grandmother had flowers that she didn't water.
Ooh,
trigger.
And she also wasn't very kind to you.
Trigger.
How the meaning you put
almost made me start speaking in tongues
is that grandmamas are not nice people.
Right.
You didn't trigger a memory from somewhere else, and now you apply it to the situation.
Meaning to the situation. And let me tell you, you don't know how often that happens.
Wow.
You apply meaning to a situation that is in a memory of yours,
Yes.
in your subconscious, in your head that you don't even know.
Deliverance.
Where did it come from?
It's time for healing and deliverance.
It is.
But it's also time for us to stop avoiding having real conversations with each other. Like we hide behind these emails and these texts. And I tell you, the biggest problem that I find in the workplace is that everybody want to have these kind of conversations over email. And that just allows for what Dr. Lawler is saying to continue. But until we get in a space where we can meet eye to eye and heart to heart, you're never going to get underneath anything. And that's what we've been avoiding as a society. And that's why it's so crazy right now in terms of communication, and why Dr. Lawler business is so highly successful because people don't want to talk to nobody. So she got to be the middle woman to help people talk to each other again.
Like, I think that's important because sometimes we don't have the tools and the language to come together because we're all caught up into our own emotions. And you can't operate effectively when you're in your emotions. You can't make good decisions when you're emotional. It's impossible because it's all about me. It's all about how I feel. It's all about what you didn't do. It's all about everything except looking at the situation from an objective place.
Because there's no balance. There's no balance from the top of the ladder. The top of a ladder is very imbalanced. You don't want to get to the top of the ladder and stand up.
Oh, look at you.
All right, Pastor D, that's good. That's a
I'm
good
just saying that is imbalance when you get to the top. You know, so you need to come on back down.
Hold that ladder at the bottom.
Listen.
Or you gonna bust your head.
So you see the white meat busted to the white meat.
Dr. Lawler, I see one of the things I see in you is the disarming smile that you have, and and your eye contact that lets people feel comfortable with giving you information. I see in you how you disarm people with your smile and your curiosity and the questions that you ask and the way that you ask them, even in the inflections in your voice, and how you draw people in and they feel like, oh, you really want to hear what I have to say. You feel like what I have to say matters, or it's going to make a difference. I see that in you, and I see how that has served you to have the clients and the clientele and the success that you've had. Because I've seen you use it tonight. I'm just gonna put it out there. I done seen you use it tonight, like the smile, kind of looking sideways and smiling and asking a question. And I think that has that's your superpower. I don't know if you feel like that's your superpower, but I feel like disarming people with your smile and your questions and your eye contact is your superpower. And I don't know, I feel like saying that. Thank you.
I agree with that. But I think because I've had Dr. Lawler come to sessions with my sub-recipients, my grantees, and on plenty of occasions, and she gives people permission to be curious.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But she looks curious.
Yes.
And I think that's the part that makes a person feel like comfortable with sharing who they are or being vulnerable with her, because she looks curious. It's like, so tell me.
You know what? I feel like AI will work for Dr. Lawler.
What you say, Michelle?
I say AI is a great candidate for Dr. Lawler because we don't have too many people in our circle like that. To your point, Nikki, that will give us that ability to feel that we could trust a Dr. Lawler, right? Mm-hmm. Like her presence, her smile. Like, I mean, I joined the group, like, to be transparent, sight unseen. I ain't know what Dr. Lawler looked like. I ain't know what Pastor D looked like, And so but I can infer some things, like it sounds like they got all their teeth, sounds like they're coordinated, but it's not until I have been in y'all presence. But it is something that transfers through voice. But when I was in you guys' presence, to Nikki's point, it's like an unveiling of just like me. I didn't feel like I had to be to pretend. First, I thought y'all would call me out anyways. I ain't gonna pretend under the people that God done trust and touched. Not fooling with that. But there's something about that, Dr. Lawler, and even you, Pastor D, that just makes people just feel they just disarm.
Yes.
So let me say this, okay? It is my gift from God. It truly is. I am now doing small groups, mostly women, but some men from all around the world. A couple of groups have women from Israel and from just all over the world who I'm grateful to be able to impact. So I'm grateful for all that you say, but I'm also going to challenge you and tell you that because of who you are in Christ, because of who he said you are, you have the ability to do the same things. Being sincerely concerned about your brother. Having the love of Christ flow through you.
Come on.
In every conversation, in every interaction. It doesn't matter who they are, really. It's who you are and how you show up. And that's your superpower. See, I learned when I try to play like them, I'm in their garage. Right? I don't know what you got in your garage here and over there. I can't play in your garage. But the way I stand flat-footed is because I realize who I am. I'm not threatened by you. I'm not anxious about you. With whatever power you think you have, let's just, I had a friend that says, I look at them like they ain't got no clothes on. Because then they can't have no power over me because they're standing over there with no clothes on. I said, well, listen, I prefer not to think about people with no clothes on, but
Facts, Dr. Lawler, for many, many reasons.
Right? But the point is, people with power or who believe they have power, because sometimes these are the people that you really have to be curious in the conversation. I understand. Wow, you want me to deliver that project by next week, right? Is that what you want, right? Well, my understanding is that it has 8 parts to it. Just from my understanding, there are 8 parts to the project. 6 of them belong to somebody else. So you want me to get 6 people to do what they need to do, and then I do what I need to do for the other 2 parts, and then put the report together and get it back to you by next week. Is that what I understand you're looking for?
Yes.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I think you're looking for. I don't think that's possible.
And you've already shown
you
them
won't
that's
smile
not
like that after you said that.
I am.
Yeah.
Your head, no. I don't think that's
Power in that smile, Michelle.
I'm not angry with you.
Attitude. I tell you, you possess that attitude that allows you to disarm people, but also they will agree with you because you have shown them why what they've asked you for does not make it's unrealistic. It doesn't make a bit of sense.
Because I walked down the ladder and got down to the data.
Yes, you did. Yes. What I want you to do is to take us through those steps, because I know we're getting close to the end, but can you take us through those steps once again so all of us know when we are approached or we're in that situation? Yes. I know everybody get this ladder inference. You can find it on.
You can find it on Google.
You can find it on Google.
Google it. It's a lot of them on Google.
I can send it to you. Okay, so
thank you.
The bottom of
100 of them already.
The bottom of the ladder.
Yes.
Is observable data. That's
Correct.
what we all see. That's where you want to get down to. The next rung on the ladder is you select something from that observable data. Remember, you see all this stuff, but you don't take it all in. So you select something about what you observe. And then you add meaning. The adding meaning is cultural and personal. Your personal experiences, and then some of your cultural biases and all that kind of stuff goes into the meaning that you add to the data that you selected. Now you make assumptions based on the meaning that you added. Now you make an assumption about the situation or the person or whatever that is. You draw a conclusion. Therefore, right? Because of this and that happened, therefore, then there's a belief. There's a conclusion and then there's a belief. Therefore, I believe you don't respect me. And because I believe you don't respect me, I'm going to treat you a certain way.
Oh yeah.
That's the actor.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you
yeah.
That's where you hanging.
I'm treating
That's where
you
hanging.
like yesterday underwear. Like you're dirty. You're dirty. You're dirty. You're dirty and you're low down.
That's right.
And you know, that's that wicked fruit.
Right.
You did, and I have a righteous indignation because you all that I have a right to treat you this way.
Yeah.
Right.
Off of my assumption, for my assumption, off of one piece of data that I chose to pay attention to, outside of everything else that was available to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens every day.
Every day.
It happens several times a day.
I feel like I need to get a bracelet that says, Tamara, don't go down up the ladder. So that, because there are so many situations and times when I'm on the job that I just forget sometimes to use the tools. But I think the one thing we have to remind ourselves is use the tools.
Yes.
That's it. That's use the tools and get a t-shirt that says test your thinking. And then on the back says, then have a conversation.
I'm just gonna get myself a bracelet so I can look at it and keep it moving.
You need that
Dr. Lawler, would you please share with us how people can get in touch with you, and the services you provide, and what whether or not you're taking new clients or whatever? Because I don't know if your schedule is like booked or whatever, but can you share that information?
The easiest way is to go to the website at jlawlercoach.com.
J.
Lawler, Lawler, Coach, COACH.com. And on there is an info piece that you can fill out, and it will come straight to me, and we can do a session to see if there's anything I can do to serve.
Oh,
and she's very good, and it works.
She worked today.
It works.
It worked today.
I know it works. I know it works
today.
You know, I really appreciate you coming on. Because I knew you had some jewels to drop, and that you would help us and help our audience to move forward as we're in Black History Month right now, but next month is Women's History Month. Mm-hmm. And as women, we are all women of color. We have so many things that we are faced with every day, from the workplace to our families, just so many things. And I just feel like this tool, like you started, is not just for the workplace. It's when you're dealing with your spouse, if you're talking to your children. You know how many times I said, show me the data, Brittany.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Show me I will go there. Show me the data, because you just created this whole narrative that have nothing to do with anything. Show me the data. Show me the evidence. And they get so mad at me. But when you do that, it makes them stop and think about, okay, is this really what I saw? I said, Brittany, everybody goes into the room and they see something totally different. Mm-hmm. You know, when you were a child, and you have these memories, they were from a child's perspective.
Yes.
And so I think it's helpful to have these tools. We just have to be reminded to use them. So I celebrate you today. I celebrate you as a Black woman who's doing it. You're helping women to overcome those mental models and those past hurts that they never got over. And I've been a part of that, and I've benefited from your friendship. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us.
Absolutely.
And we're all the better for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Love you.
Thank you so much again for being with us tonight and sharing what little nuggets you could give to us. I mean, it's huge, but we just didn't have enough time.
If you guys keep praying, we just never know. The Lord may lay it on our heart to do something on a regular basis. I'm just
you mean like a whole day of coaching with Dr. Lawler?
Woo!
Like throwing it out there. I'm just
the best we can be.
I will be a superwoman. I'll be like, test my thinking if you want to. Come.
I don't know. I think I would sign up for that. I would pay money for that.
I pay a couple of dollars for that.
I'll pay money for that, and I would
And
tell
give her
people
lunch.
about it. Would you?
I think so, yeah, girl.
Oh my God, I would do
It'll be
that.
so easy.
Well, Dr. Lawler, that's it. I mean, I think you got at least 5 people right here that'll pay for it.
It's a whole lot of people out there coaching ain't giving this out. Come on.
Amen.
Wait, still wounded.
Right. And
who is righteous, who love the Lord.
We love
Absolutely.
it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
The Lord.
Amen.
Thank you again. This has been wonderful. This has been wonderful, and it's been good. And I hope that the people who have been listening tonight, I hope you share something with someone. Share this broadcast, this show. Definitely go back on to Facebook and YouTube and just share it. Send it to someone that you know who can benefit from this information. It's been invaluable. And thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much. We're just excited about it. And we thank you for being on the show with us tonight.
Yes,
And we're going to
thank
have you
you.
back.
Yes,
We're going to
definitely.
have you back and let's do this conversation again. We love you all. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Love you.
Bye.
Talk to you tomorrow.
You've been listening to
Soulful Inspiration.
We're so glad you hung out with us today. We're here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on WVTC Detroit. If you'd like to partner with us or sponsor a show with your business, send us an email at tntsoulllc@gmail.com, or you can call us at 313-570-8280. I'm your girl,
Nikki Jones.
The views and opinions expressed on the previous broadcast are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of WVTC Radio Detroit, its advertisers, or affiliates.
Hey, my name is Joe Smith. I'm a filmmaker here in Detroit, and I watch WVTC and listen. Watch and listen. You got the eyes and ears, both.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.